On the panel tonight, a man who's held more jobs than we have time to mention. He's the current president of the Detroit School Board and former deputy mayor of Detroit, Attorney Anthony Adams. He used to run Think Detroit PAL, one of the biggest supporters of the effort to change Detroit public schools. Dan Varner with the Kellogg Foundation. Some people predict the weather. He predicts the political winds. He saw it all coming. Steve Hood is here tonight. And the guru of all things legal and sometimes illegal, Attorney Charlie Langton. We thank you all for being here. And Anthony Foundation offering money to improve.
Wait a minute. It was a takeover. Hold on. When you have one of the largest vendors, DPS, actually funding the destruction of the school board, that's a takeover.
All we've done is debate about whether it's a takeover, whether it's going to benefit, this adult or that adult. And the conversation has not been about what is best for young people. Now, here's the truth. Here's the truth. We have some students who have succeeded remarkably out of DPS, right, who get 4-year scholarships to universities like the University of Michigan. We also have students, though, who fail miserably, who drop out of high school. I talked to a young man today who's a former mentee of mine, 22 years old, facing prison, high school dropout, out of DPS. We have way too many of those kids in the city. Our system in this city promotes kids into adulthood, particularly young black men, and just puts them on a track for prison. Way too many.
If these foundations are offering you tens of millions of dollars, why would you not take it?
Because our children can't be bought and sold like that. There are a lot of things, but there are a lot of things that I said that we actually agree with their educational plan. It was the process and medical
case now. This affidavit out of nowhere, a week before an election? Come on. Legally, this party, in my opinion, is totally irrelevant. There's no significance whatsoever. Even if there was a party, it doesn't matter. The question maybe is whether or not Kwame Kilpatrick did something to hinder a murder investigation. That's the evidence I want to see. I haven't seen it. This case is going away. No doubt.
Do you think he's going to plead the Fifth? Do you think he pled the Fifth today in that deposition?
He should have.
I don't know. If he didn't, he should have. But wait a minute. This party is very relevant, Charlie.
For what?
For media? No, not just for media. People want closure to this thing. They want to know, did somebody go to the hospital? Did the medical records disappear? Did it really happen?
Why?
Okay.
Why? It's
because there's a child who is motherless, Charlie.
It's not legally
Charlie, there's a child who is motherless, and you need to get to the bottom of why she was killed.
The police department is still investigating it. You know what? In Detroit, there are a few unsolved murders, unfortunately. This, unfortunately, is one of them.
This case is still cold.
It is still open, so let the police investigate.
Here's the issue. No, it's not just the police. You've got to get to the bottom of why this child was left motherless. This is very relevant. Now, I'm going to tell you, the biker, supposedly, that whole ripping the table leg off, that sounds like something off of Jerry Springer. It sounds like the guy was watching Jerry Springer so much. I couldn't say that earlier this week, but it sounds like a Jerry Springer thing. Come on.
Just for the record, Steve, you weren't there, were you?
No.
He wanted to be.
I was at 4.5 miles east. But still on the water, and nobody beat anybody.
But so we all realize that this so-called biker witness lacks credibility, that this case may or may not go anyway, but it has had an impact already possibly on the governor's race. Mike Cox leading the Republican primary until this week when these so-called revelations came out. Now Rick Snyder is apparently leading on the Republican side.
But if you look at the numbers, they're in a statistical dead heat. All right, so it really didn't push him down that far. They're in a statistical dead heat right now on the Republican side. Now, on the Democratic side,
Verge
Bonero, the surge of Verge. And let me tell you what.
Are you working for him, by the way?
No. Let me disclose. I provided all the Detroit data and all the Wayne County data for the Bonero campaign.
So that's a yes.
And that is a yes. But that is also one of the reasons he's winning, not because of me, but because he actually put his money where his mouth is. He hired Michigan workers, where his competitor hired a company out of Chicago. All right, we have talented people in Michigan, and whoever the next governor is, Republican or Democrat, has to figure out how to put talented Michigan back to work.
Well, clearly the winner needs to get the Detroit vote on the Democratic side. There's no question about it.
Of course, the winner needs to do that. Of course, the winner needs to do that. But wait a minute. It's going to be tough for Dylan because also he is not pro-choice.
Is that really going to make it an issue in Detroit?
So Republicans are actually smiling today around the city council vote, right? Because an issue that would have brought Detroit voters out in November, highly Democratic, would have voted in the
gubernatorial.
That's absolutely true. Detroiters would have turned out sounded
any
much
Republican
like
That is
like
smoke
that.
screen
Doesn't
infiltrated by
matter.
the
But
wrong
that's why the issue failed.
And I'll say it again,
I think
you will
it's true.
likely have a Republican in the governor's office come January.
Not
More
if
than
Bonero
likely.
gets to the primary.